All right, everybody, today I'm riding the Honda X-ADV 750, taking it out for a ride. First impression, rider experience. This thing comes in at 54 horsepower with 50 foot-pounds of torque, and the low end mid-range is wonderful. The 524 pounds compared to the ADV 150 I have been riding is definitely noticeable. When you're cruising at highway speeds, you don't feel it, of course, but when you're stopped at a stoplight and you try to steer or low speed maneuvering, you can feel the weight. The DCT transmission is pretty cool. It makes it very easy to ride. I know Honda doesn't call it an automatic transmission, but if you don't know anything about motorcycles, you jump on this thing, it shifts like an automatic. Here on my right is the shift selector. You can shift between drive and sport, or choose between drive and sport. What I found when it's in drive, that's the default. When you turn the key on, it shifts at a really low RPM. It lugs the engine, especially when you're riding around the city. It just constantly clicks up and down. Actually it's more of a clunk. Clunk, 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 clunk. It's really annoying the way it shifts. It's weird. So I just put that thing in sport mode and leave it in sport mode all the time, and it shifts really close, if not exactly how I would shift it if I was riding a motorcycle. It shifts, I think, perfect. And it's a lot of fun. The acceleration, the mid-range and low end power is perfect. The handling at high speeds is very good. It feels much more stable, much more planned at high speed compared to the ADV 150, which makes sense. It's bigger, it's heavier. This motorbike will make it look like a much better rider than you really are, because you can really focus on the road and your throttle, in the braking, because you're not focused on the clutch and the transmission shifting. So you have much more brain power focused on what's going on around you and the other things you need to focus on. Because that transmission, it's tough to beat this thing off the line. It's only 54 horsepower, but it's so quick. It's automatic transmission. So I'll pull up to a Ninja here.
Oh my goodness!
And I'll even let it take off in front of me here. And I'm just gonna roll on real nice. Look at this. The one thing, this thing is big compared to the ADV 150. So maneuvering in traffic and between cars, it's not as convenient, and I can't just zip in and out of cars. So with the smaller motorbike, when the cars are stopped, I work my way up through the cars, get to the front. But on this thing, who cares? Once it turns green, I zip through the cars once they start moving. The way it looks, it has a Mad Max retro kind of look and vibe to it. It's like nothing you've seen on the road. I've seen a flat black colored one of these, and that looks really cool. You see that, you think Mad Max. All right, we're gonna pass this green truck. Just listen to how cool this thing sounds. I will say during low speed, turning, maneuvering, the steering is really heavy. And when I first rented this, I thought the front tire was low in air. That's what it felt like to me. So I went and I put air in it. It was a little bit low, not much, not enough to really make much difference. I rode some more, it just still felt heavy. So I went and checked the air pressure again, and it's just the way it handles. It just steers really heavy, which is kind of surprising. I didn't expect that, which I don't really care. That's probably the one thing I really did not like about it, is that heavy steering at low speeds. You get used to it, but it's kind of weird. Of course, this thing comes with a smart key system like the ADV 150. Super cool. Keep the key in your pocket, jump on it, everything works, no plugging anything in. The thing's long like you'd expect. It's big. You pull up to any other motorbike, the ADV 150 is kind of big compared to other motorbikes, and this thing looks or feels double the size of that. Brakes are awesome. I think the brakes are actually better than the ADV 150. It's 100 pounds heavier, but it's easier to stop. It feels easier to stop. The suspension, long travel suspension, so it absorbs bumps better than any scooter or motorbike you're gonna rent. It absorbs bumps like a motorcycle. It's really nice. Feels safer than a small scooter, of course. Night riding is better on this than a small scooter. The headlights are better, much better. Oh, on the left hand, there's the manual shift, and you can shift up and down on, with your left hand. I messed around with that. I didn't use it much. It reminds me of the sport mode in a car with an automatic transmission. You could put sport manually shift. I don't know. I guess somebody would use it. To me, it's kind of a gimmicky, cool thing. Maybe somebody likes, but if I had this, if it was mine, I would never use that. The seat position is comfortable, like I said, though the seat slopes down and it's kind of slick, so you slide forward. The 12-volt charge outlet on the ADV 150, it's right up front, in the little glove box on the left, so I can easily charge my phone and use my GPS. On this, it's under the seat, so that's not really convenient. And I ran a cord up to it, but I kept unplugging the thing, and because it gets in the way of your body, and when you it's just weird. So that kind of sucks. Those three big things. Also, the trunk space. It's pretty small. I mean, it's enough to get one helmet in here. I mean, there's just not much room in there. The ADV 150 has not double, maybe 3 times the size.
Yeah.
The Yamahas, boy, they have great storage. Daily commuter overall, which one would I choose? I would choose ADV 150. Which one would I choose to rent for a few days to have fun? I would choose this one right here for a few days. But after I'm done with this, I am going to return it and go back to my ADV 150. It's just more practical. I can go further on fuel, better storage. I can ride it all day and not be tired. I did take it off-road some, of course, and it handles just fine. No problems. I just went through some small mud puddles, nothing major. This is just so heavy, I wouldn't want to do much riding off-road. If you have a passenger on, because there's no fuel tank to keep you from sliding, and the seat is sloped down and it's a bit slick, so you really got to brace your feet out in front of you and keep pushing yourself back. And the wind protection is really good. You sit down inside this thing versus sitting on top of it like the ADV 150 or even like the CBR 1000. You sit down in it. The windscreen I have all the way down right now. You can adjust that up to deflect even more wind. The way the plastic is and the way this thing is set up, it really channels that heat right out the back of this. To, unlike a motorcycle, all that heat would be coming up right between your legs through that seat. And like I said, it's Southeast Asia, it's hot. So this is a really nice setup. Riding all day with a passenger on the back is completely comfortable for me and my passenger. So if you're out traveling the world and you haven't had a chance to rent one of these yet, rent one, ride it just for the experience. It's pretty dang cool. And I think this thing's only gonna get cooler with time. This was a lot of fun riding this Honda X-ADV 750 for the day. So until next time, live simple and travel light, mi amigos.